Welcome to Malicious Compliance. This story is by red_mano82001. Don't want to give me my bacon? That's fine. This happened to me about a year ago, during the peak of COVID, and I thought I would share it. There were several restaurants that were struggling last year, somewhere near the peak of COVID. Several shut down completely, and others fired all of their staff just to try to stay afloat. Around this time, my wife and I made it a habit to order takeout from our favorite establishments. We always tip the standard 20+%, despite these always being takeout orders. One restaurant in particular forgot to include the bacon that was supposed to come with our order. The order was around $20, with a tip of around $5, so around $25 total. When you picked up your order from this restaurant, you had to park and come inside. There was no drive-thru or curbside pickup. On this particular day, I picked up the order as usual and drove home, around 5-ish minutes away. We immediately discovered that the bacon we had ordered was missing. So I called the restaurant. I expected to call and simply have them refund the $30-some back cost of the bacon. Simple enough, right? Wrong. This restaurant only had one person working the front, so when you called, you knew exactly who you were speaking with. When I called and stated they must have forgotten to include the bacon before I had a chance to ask for any type of resolution, refund, replacement, etc., this person informed me that there was a large sign in the restaurant instructing customers to check their orders for accuracy before leaving the store. As it turns out, the sign they mentioned was there. The instructions for checking your order was one of about 5 notes hastily written on a piece of printer paper taped to a wall. It was out of the way, not obvious, and sloppily handwritten. However, I failed to read this note, and I had failed to check my order for accuracy before leaving the store. I admitted this, and asked them to either refund the $3 or I could come pick up the missing bacon. Definitely not a preferred option, but whatever. The restaurant refused these requests, told me the missing bacon was my fault, and went as far as to question whether the bacon had actually been forgotten, stating that they remembered packing my order. This is where the MC comes in. They had basically accused me of lying about $3 worth of bacon that was missing from an order. This conversation had escalated quickly in the span of about 30 seconds, and I was pissed. I informed this person that they had failed to provide what I had ordered, and that I would be forced to seek compensation, all $3 worth. I asked how they preferred I go about seeking this compensation, hoping they would succumb and just give me a $3 refund. However, to no one's surprise but my own, the restaurant told me to go ahead and file a chargeback, because they had video proof and that I would lose that chargeback case. So I did exactly that. I called up my credit card company and filed a chargeback. This chargeback was for $3 on a $25 charge, only $3, not the full charge. The agent with my credit card company offered to simply refund the $3 several times, but I kept insisting that it was the principle of it at this point, so I proceeded with the chargeback. There was paperwork that you have to fill out if a merchant contests a chargeback. About 3 months after initiating the chargeback, I got paperwork in the mail that instructs me to provide all of the proof I have. I provide no proof other than the recollection of what the merchant had stated, including them stating that they had video evidence of the bacon going into my order. I felt like I had already won at this point. It was costing them time and energy, and I was happy to fight the fight, all for the sake of $3. A couple of months after I submitted this follow-up paperwork, I got a letter from the credit card company stating that they had decided in my favor and that the merchant was forced to credit me the $3, a big win for humanity. What many people don't know is that a chargeback costs the merchant, especially small merchants, and this cost can easily be upwards of $100. Despite the chargeback being for only $3. Additionally, if a merchant has enough chargebacks, a card processor may increase the merchant's rates or discontinue a contract entirely. Basically, any chargeback a small merchant has on their record is bad. So, in all, the restaurant instructed me to file the chargeback. I wasted a ton of their time, ended up costing them in the neighborhood of $100. We'll cut that out. I wasted a ton of their time, ended up costing them in the neighborhood of $100 for the chargeback fee, and won the $3 that they should have just credited me in the first place. Edit to clarify a few things. One, the person in question was not a teenager, not sure where everyone got that from. They were middle-aged, late 40s, and appeared to be the manager. Two, no, I will not be naming the restaurant. They are still in business. I still go there and have not seen this person/manager since this incident. I have no idea whether they quit, were fired, and or are now a Reddit troll, but I know they no longer work there. 3. This is not an am I the asshole? If it was, I'm not sure how it would play out. However, and bear with me here, the person told me to file a chargeback, so I did. Isn't that what r/malicious compliance is all about? Also, it was bacon. Read this as though the fact that it was bacon is sufficient justification by itself. As user Lord Gopo put it, OP after getting the $3, fuck you and I'll see you tomorrow. And this is a very amusing story. Wonderful. I mean, they did tell you to charge a chargeback. And so you did.
Clean up your mess. All right, but I'm not cleaning up yours. By Bailey the Nerd. This was from a few years ago when I was in the wonderful bullshit world hellscape of retail phone sales, professionally curb stomping my morals. It was not a job I liked, as I have morals, and I had a manager who I did not like because she had neither morals nor work ethic. Preface. Now, for those of you who don't already know, most retail phone sales, especially at carrier stores, are heavily commissioned. Not on what device you buy, that doesn't matter, but rather what services you buy. Employees typically make an extra $30 to $100 every time you add something new to your account. Managers get their bonuses based off of these metrics as well. So as a result, you can understand there's a lot of pressure over selling new services. Lead up to malicious compliance. Our story begins one fateful day when our older gentleman walks into the store. My coworker at the time, typically 2 employees in store at any given time, dislikes helping the elderly. So this guy was passed off to me. He wanted to get satellite television with us, which is typically quite a bit of commission. I work with him. His building doesn't allow satellite dishes to be installed, so unfortunately I couldn't sell it to him. Though my manager did try to force me to convince him to get it installed on a friend/neighbor's house, which I shot down. Once that penny drops, the older gentleman asks about the web version of our TV service. Not as nice a commission, but still a very important metric for my manager. I advise against this as the customer is not at all tech savvy, doesn't know his own email password, and the web-based TV service was, well, it was horrible. I advise against it, but the man's pretty insistent. I go back and ask my manager if I should go through with it, since it feels like it's going to bite me in the ass, and she basically says, do it or don't have a job. So I sell the man the service, and wouldn't you know it, it turns into a nightmare. To turn the long part of this story short, he wants to cancel the service. He forgets his password. Support for the service is practically non-existent. He's getting billed for it month after month. Every time he walks in, he's angrier and angrier. Every time he walks in, I try to fix things myself, but I literally have no back-end support for it. Every time he walks in, I end his visit by trying to go to my manager to beg her to do something managerial to help me fix this mess the poor grumpy old bugger is in. Every time I get her response, it's your mess. Clean it up. Eventually, old dude cancels his credit card. My amazing assistant manager pulls in some favors, and the guy is made whole. The malicious compliance. Remember how I mentioned that TV was a heavy metric in my job? Well, the few times my manager would leave the sanctity of her office, because she finished everything on Netflix, she'd come out and periodically trick people into getting services that they did not want or need. In particular, practically the exact same situation happened with an older woman, whom she had sold the internet-based TV service to on a whim. She didn't even go over the terms with this older woman. The older woman comes in when I'm in the store, and I immediately tune into what's happening. She's fallen into the exact same issue, being billed but completely unable to stop it, and what's worse was she didn't even know that she had been set up for that service. So I go back to my manager. Names have been changed. Me. Hey, Crystal, there's an older woman out here who's having the same issue as Mr. John, my customer. She said you helped her last weekend, manager. Oh, would you mind helping her with that? You have the experience from last time, and she doesn't have any of her account info. Yeah, account info that you made up. Me, well, it's your mess. You clean it up. Manager, Bailey the nerd, it's your job to help customers. Me, well, it's certainly not your job to sign people up for services they don't even know they have. Manager, well, it was free for the first couple of months. I meant to cancel it. Me, great, it sounds like it's your mess. Now go clean it up. Fell out. I love to say that the manager was fired over this, but instead she had to spend about 3 months worth of visits with this woman, receiving a progressively worse store review every time. Eventually the manager had to have a talk with the district manager about reviews, and the older woman's account got fixed. Manager was on a very thin ice when I quit. TLDR, manager makes me fix a mess that I made with no help and support. I make her fix a mess that she definitely made with no help or support. And these kind of malicious compliance stories I just love. Because I'm just like, how are you going to tell someone to do something and then say that the fault is squarely on them and that they need to go fix it? Like, rude as shit, bitch. So yeah, they definitely got what they deserved. So thank you, Bailey, for sharing this awesome, wonderful story with us.